I'm back. I'm back. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on today with technology, but we're having some problems, and hopefully from my phone we'll have better luck. But hello, I just did a glorious meditation and was about to get into the card pull, and then I saw a comment that I had left and that you could no longer see me. So hopefully from my phone, we'll be able to have better luck this go around. Thank you for your patience. I know that this type of stuff annoys the shit out of me, just so you know. So if it annoys the shit out of you, you are not alone, because what I'm feeling right now is anytime this happens, like this doesn't happen on my one-on-one client calls, really. It's maybe happened like a couple of times. This doesn't happen during other live streams. It's only during the Tuesday, which I find very fascinating. And how I see it is there are so many messages and downloads that are wanting to land into this collective that technology is breaking on us. That's what's happening right now. It's because y'all are fucking extraordinary beings. You're extraordinary women, that you're so powerful that technology cannot keep up with you. How amazing is that? All right. Thank you for tuning back. Thank you for joining me. So we are going to dive in. I don't know how long I was talking to myself, but I was talking about our retreat because a lot of you have been sending me DMs. Is your Soul Ascend retreat in August full? And it is definitely not full. However, a lot of the options are filling up very quickly. So if you've been getting that nudge to meet me in person, and to meet my partner, Jennifer Luddington, in person, and to do some deep manifestation work, some deep co-creative work together on the white sandy beach of St. Pete's, then you can go to thesoulsuccess.com to learn more about it and to see what options are still available for you. All right. Hello, Lorena. Hello, Joy. Hello, ladies. Hi, Kimberly. Okay, here we go. Hi, Janessa. Good to see you all here. So we are going to start with number one. We're going to start with number one. Okay. I love this card. So the first card that is coming through for those of you that picked number one is Spider Woman, who is the goddess of co-creation. She is the Navajo goddess who rises to help you interweave your fabric into reality, just as a spider is very intricate and tedious with her work in co-creation, the co-creative process of spinning her web. You two number ones, Spider Woman is with you to help you in your co-creative process of you conspiring with the universe and surrendering to the process. Okay, so I want to talk about co-creation for a hot minute here, because this is a message that whether or not you picked number one, I really think is going to land for you. And it's all about manifestation. How I see co-creation is that's manifesting. It's manifesting by conspiring with source energy, with wisdom from the universe. And what that takes is this big word that has become my mantra over the past, I want to say 3 years, is surrendering. Okay, so when we think of surrender, often a lot of us might misinterpret the word surrender, and I want to be very clear on how we're going to use this word today. So when I think of surrender, I think of a lot of us, when we have a vision or when we use the word goals, we get very specific about the how to, right? It's like, okay, I want to manifest X amount of money. I want to manifest my dream business. I want to manifest my dream clients. And we get very particular about the how. We think we need to figure out everything. And I'm a business strategy coach, right? I should not be saying this. I should not be saying, you do not know exactly how it's going to manifest. I should not be saying that. I'm saying that to you right now, sister. Okay, so a lot of us surrender to our goal, our desire, our vision. We surrender and we say, you know what? This isn't what I should be doing because I don't know how I'm going to do it. You are not meant to know how it's going to unfold for you. If you were to know how everything was going to unfold for you, then it would have already happened. Okay, and because it hasn't happened yet in your manifestation process, you get to surrender to the process. You get to surrender to the messiness. Your magic unfolds in the messiness. Your evolution unfolds in the messiness. Oh, I've got 10% of my battery. Okay, so often we stress and we worry about how things are going to convert for us. You're not meant to know how, okay? In the beginning phase, it's all about trusting and surrendering to the process. Okay, do you need strategy? Do you need tactic? Do you need action? Yes, hell yes, absolutely. And so what I'm telling you right now, number ones, is this is a blend between laws of attraction, which says you've got to feel good. And if you don't feel good, then it's not going to happen. You know what? Am I negative? Yes. Am I positive all the time? No, I'm not. So I think this is where, and I've talked about this before, this is where I sometimes have beef with the laws of attraction, because we're humans. We're souls having a human experience, and things are not always going to be rainbows and butterflies and unicorns all the time. In fact, often, especially if I'm just creating something for the first time, you better bet it's going to be fucking messy. But in that messiness is where we learn and we evolve and we grow, and that's where the manifestation happens. So what I'm telling you, number ones, is you've got to trust and surrender to the process. That is first and foremost. You've got to believe with 100% in every cell in your body that your magic is unfolding, and whatever you desire is possible. And the reason why it's possible is because you wouldn't be having these downloads if they were not possible for you. You wouldn't. The reason why you have a desire and it feels good is because you are capable. However, when you start to get into action and you do not surrender to the process, and you think you need to know how everything is going to unfold step by step by step by step, and when a curveball is thrown at you, you're like, oh, well, it's not meant to be. That curveball is meant to be because it's the universe telling you there's another lesson that you get to learn in this process, and you get to have fun with it. All right? So how is this landing for you guys? I feel like I just channeled Spider-Woman. I don't even know what I just said. I kind of blacked out. That happens for me sometimes. So let's see this. Sometimes I was worrying about stressed me out so much that I surrendered to taking a nap. I dreamt the answer to my problem. Yes, and that's it. That is joy. That is you surrendering. You don't have to know all the answers. And that's the beauty in it. Do you think I knew how I was going to manifest my first business? That's still, I don't touch it, and it still pays me to this day a hefty amount of money. I had no idea that that was going to happen. But I surrendered and I said, you know what? I know I have an ability to impact people. And I don't know how it's going to happen, but I trust, and I trust that the universe has got my back. Okay, so you get to do that too. And sometimes it requires taking a nap. Lorena, yes, you have talked about it before, and it is time for me to surrender and stop trying to stick to the how. Yes. Awesome. Joy, you say, I'm amazed. It's amazing. Yes. I felt so lazy and self-obsessed doing it. Kimberly, yes, anytime we set goals, intentions, and dreams, we will always bring forth attitudes, beliefs, and challenges that we are not aligned. We have to go through them in order to come through on the other side. Kimberly, that is so beautiful. I'm loving reading this. This is always an indicator that you are aligned and in right where you need to be, but so often we retreat into inaction. Oh, amen, sister. I'm like celebrating everything I just read. So thank you guys for those comments. That was amazing. Keep sending me your comments, number ones. And even if you didn't pick number one, that was pretty powerful. All right. So I'm going to move on to number two, unless you have any other comments or questions from the Navajo goddess, Spider Woman, the goddess of co-creation. And how I see her is she really is the goddess of manifestation. Do you think a spider knows exactly how they're going to spin their web? No, they just start getting into work. And that's what you get to channel. You are so amazing. I love this card. It's so aligned with the cosmic energy for the month. Yes. Oh, I can't wait to hear your astrology and human design and numerology perspective, Kimberly. Okay, so number two, this card was upside down, and this is the Celtic goddess of potential. This is Saradwin. Okay, so Saradwin, the Celtic goddess, is here to remind you that the power that resides in the womb of your heart and the chalice of your mind is with you. So when that self-doubt comes, you get to connect with source energy and your womb wisdom, or which is one and the same, right? I like to think of heart chakra as intuition and womb wisdom as your co-creation. So for those of you that picked number two, I'm feeling there's a little bit of complacency in your energy right now where you're saying to yourself, oh, this is just enough. It's almost like you're limiting your potential because you kind of feel like you've hit your ceiling and this is as much as you can create. You kind of feel like life has thrown you a curveball, maybe, number twos, and you're not meeting your full potential because there's been a setback. And so going back to, I'm going to channel Spider Woman again because she's a very powerful card. I feel like she's the overarching card for all three of these card pulls. So I'm going to keep coming back to her. But Spider Woman doesn't need to know how, she just gets into radical action. And in that radical action is where the magic behind manifestation begins. So with Saradwin, because this was upside down, she's here to remind you that it's time to course correct, that you do not have a glass ceiling, number twos. You do not have a glass ceiling. And part of the magic and in the unfolding and in the uncovering layers is realizing that you do not have a glass ceiling. In fact, your potential is limitless. Your potential is limitless even when you feel like you're stuck. Sometimes the way that I look at manifestation, especially when it comes to business, is it's kind of like we're driving this highway, right? And we're on the highway and we're, wanting to drive to San Diego. Or in San Francisco, we're wanting to get to San Diego, okay? And we know that we have to keep staying on the highway. Otherwise, when we take these detours is when we get distracted. Okay, so from San Francisco to San Diego, there is Santa Barbara, there's Los Angeles, there's Orange County, all right? And a lot of them they're like dangling this carrot. They have really shiny objects that are at are at the detour, and they say, well, do you really want to get to San Diego? Because Los Angeles is where it's at. We've got Santa Monica, we've got beaches, like this is where you should go, right? That's shiny object syndrome. Meanwhile, your heart has always been set on San Diego because it's got the right people, it's got that really cool vibe, you're a surfer. Los Angeles was never really your jam, but for whatever reason, there's an exit in Los Angeles that's saying, hey, you know what? You weren't meant for San Diego. Those people aren't going to accept you. You know what? You're like your surfing skills. You need to go to Los Angeles to really develop those surfing skills because you're not ready for San Diego, right? And so we take all these detours along the way, and then in those taking detours, even though our vision was to get to San Diego, we become complacent and we get settled in the routine of staying in Santa Monica or Marina del Rey. I'm using this example because this actually happened to me. I took a detour in Los Angeles when I was living in Santa Barbara. I said, you know what? I'm going to take a detour. It's going to be good for business. I'm just going to stay in Los Angeles. I got fucking complacent there. And I stopped living my dharma. I stopped having fun. And I thought, you know what? I've got to stay in Los Angeles for a while if I want to grow my business, because this is what you do. If you want to be a successful woman today, you've got to build it in Los Angeles. Until finally, I realized that this detour was actually holding me back. Okay, so I share this with you because if you picked number 2, I'm hearing that you might have taken a little bit of a detour, and it could be on a micro level or a macro level. Maybe you just got off to get gas. Maybe you needed to stop at the gas station and you got a little sidetracked. Sarah Dwin is telling you it's time to get back on that fucking highway and go to San Diego, because this is your destiny. This is your destiny. And this is where your infinite magic is waiting for you, is in San Diego. You feel me? How is that landing for you? All right, that was number 2. I want to see if there's anything else I want to say about number 2. Number 2, an activity or a soul assignment that I'm going to give to you is put your hands on your heart and really envision where you want to be. What does San Diego look like to you? How do you call San Diego forward and put yourself in the shoes of embodying and being in San Diego, whether it's riding that wave into the sunset, whether it's putting your feet in the sand, whether it's connecting with people in La Jolla, I don't know. But what does that look like for you, and how do you embody and call San Diego forward? I'm using San Diego as a metaphor. Maybe you don't like San Diego, pick a different word, but that is the divine calling you forward. If you are having these nudges, it's because it's messages from the divine, and you get to act and respond to those nudges, not push them away. Because sometimes we push them away. And number 2 is, I feel like you've been pushing San Diego away. Your dreams and cherished desires are important to the divine. They are important. And the universe wants to co-create with you to get you to San Diego. Okay? Even if you have setbacks. Because guess what? Just going back to what I was saying about Spider-Woman, those setbacks are for a reason. Don't make yourself wrong because you got distracted on a detour. Those detours are okay. Eventually you'll get there. We all have detours. We're meant to have detours. Don't make yourself wrong for it, but just know how to course correct so you can get back on that highway and get to your destination. All right? Okay, that was number 2. What are you all saying? Okay, Kimberly, my detour. Courtney, I love this. Yep, the setbacks hurt. I never give up, and this card is a good reminder of that fact, to see how far I've come. Love your analogy. I body surfed at Dana Point last summer before moving here. I was going to go to Hawaii. Hawaii may still be in my future. Yes! You know, it's funny. I was going to say Hawaii because that's what I envision. However, you can't drive to Hawaii, which is why I didn't say Hawaii. So that's really funny you said that, Joy. Lorena, yes, I have definitely taken a detour and I need to course correct. Yes, and like I was saying, don't make yourself wrong for it. It's part of being human, is we all take detours, and that's okay. It's what did I learn when I got off on that detour, and how do I course correct to get back on track, okay? So that was number 2. Last one, my friends, is number 3, which is the Greek goddess of the hunt, Artemis. The Greek goddess of the hunt. And so if you look at this beautiful card of Artemis, gosh, I love this card. She is holding a bow and an arrow. So I'm not into archery. I've never done it before. I feel like I'm feeling called to it actually after looking at this card, because there's an archery studio right by my house. But when I think of archery, it requires a careful, it requires that precision, like I was talking about before, in order to be successful in archery, right? And so sometimes, because this card was upside down, sometimes, number 3, is you can be focused on one thing that you run the risk of losing that opportunity or experience of what you genuinely desire. So you might be so fixated on your end goal or on your vision that you become blind to what is truly yours, what's truly in front of you, and what will be in your best and highest good. So the goddess of the hunt is offering you the soul assignment of softening your focus and being open to whatever curveballs come your way and what you have to learn from those detours like that I was talking about. Okay, so sometimes the detours can come in the form of beautiful manifestations that are actually part of our dharma, our divine purpose. So again, those detours are not bad. Those detours can actually be one of the greatest gifts because we're laser focused on getting to San Diego or maybe getting to Hawaii, right? Got to take a boat or a flight to get there. We're so focused on our vision. However, we might take a detour and we get off in Santa Barbara, let's say, that's where I'm from, and say, wow, I had no idea Santa Barbara existed. And Santa Barbara is amazing. I love it here. You know what? I'm going to stay here for a couple of months because these are my people. And this was not part of my plan. However, I'm really digging the vibe here. Okay, and that happened to me. I live in the mountains of Idaho. Did I ever think I was going to end up here? No. I'm a born and raised SoCal girl, and I thought that was where I was going to raise my kids, buy my home. I was going to live in SoCal for the rest of my life. Until I met a man from Idaho, and he took me here. And at first I was like, okay, how long do I need to be in Idaho? I don't think we need to be in Idaho for a week. What are we going to do in Idaho for an entire week? And I was like kind of pissed that I was going to be in Idaho for a week. And then he took me here. And I remember when I got off the plane and I looked around and I looked at the wide open space, I met the friendly people here. I had my first experience at my in-laws' house, just reading by the river. It was the first time I really felt my shoulders drop. I felt like I didn't need to prove anything to anybody. I could just be at that moment, and that was enough. That was the first time I really, truly ever felt that way. And I think I was maybe, 28 years old. And I felt this experience of joy that I've never felt before. It was unconditional. And so I share this with you because, that was the first time where I even played with the idea of not fulfilling my vision of raising my kids in California. And then I kept coming back and I kept nudging Luke. I'm like, can we please go back to Sun Valley? It's amazing. It's beautiful. I love it there. Until finally I said, we've got to live there. Okay. And so that is what Artemis is telling you is, with those detours and with the setbacks is, often they're not setbacks. Often they're actually part of your soul's contract. They're part of your dharma. They're part of your purpose. But the 10 years ago version of you didn't know because you had to go through all of the detours in order to realize that actually your biggest vision is right where you are right now, or your biggest vision is in a completely different state that you've never been to before. All right. And so this is all about surrendering. The first thing that I was talking about, surrendering to, you don't have to always surrender your vision. And in fact, a lot of the times I'm going to tell you your vision, you've got to be laser focused on your vision, but also being open to some of the curveballs and the lessons that you're going to learn in your curveballs, and be okay with pivoting and changing your mind when you're really connected to your own source energy and to your own intuition. Is that making sense, you guys? Soften your focus and allow the fulfillment of your desire to come at will. Don't force things to happen. They will come at will. Whether or not you hit your mark or hit your vision is not the point. It's the magic that unfolds along the way. Isn't that amazing? Call on the goddess to remind you of the truth that love, success, and opportunity